Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men that taught me this truth through the Spirit. Peace and blessings to you brothers that teach His word, the truth and sincerity. And peace and blessings to the rest of the elect of the house of Israel that's scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Today's lesson or show is going to be The Prophets Are Back. The prophets are here, live in living color, October 9th, 2019, and until the kingdom comes. So this is based off a page that the elder brother Ariala from the Dallas camp, GMS Dallas camp, has sent to brothers on the chat, and it sparked this show. I'm going to read it and get into it and bring some scriptures out to back it up. So it says, I am positive. I don't know where the book is from. I'll ask the brother and I'll post it on the comment board and in the description. But I had to strike when the fire was hot. I read this, it sparked the spirit. It's edifying. Now it's time to eat and feed. So it says, I am positive for thousands of years this world witnessed countless parades of prophets pronouncing and explaining the will of God. Elijah, Amos, Moses, Ezekiel, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Samuel, which, by the way, they were all Israelites. Okay? Israelites consist of you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians from your prospective tribes. You are the Israelites today. Okay? It says, and all other marvelous messages until Yahweh Shai and Paul and Peter and John, James, Andrew, Bartholomew, Jude, and the rest of the apostles. Okay? And then no more. I cannot believe that no matter how many of his prophets were ridiculed, chastised, tortured, and even murdered, I cannot conceive that God finally gave up on us and turned his back on our needs, causing some of us to finally assume that he must be dead since we hadn't heard from him in so long, it says, and we haven't heard from him in so long a time. Instead, I truly believe that he has sent to every generation special people, talented people, brilliant people, all bearing the same message in one form or another, that every human is capable of performing the greatest miracle in the world, and it is man's most grievous fault that he has not comprehended the message, blinded as he is by the trivia of each succeeding civilization. And it ends right there. Now, real quick, it says, I truly believe that he sent every generation a special people, a talented people, and a brilliant people. And that people is referring to the nation of Israel. Okay? Which consists of you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians and Mexicans. Okay? Though you might have scientists, artists, entrepreneurs, entertainers, farmers, and the list goes on of all the skills that the planet Earth, that all the skills that's on Earth. But there's one people in particular that the Most High favors, that the Most High chose out of all the people, and that's the nation of Israel. And that's all throughout the Bible. Okay? And it says all bearing the same message and warn from one another. Now let's get to the scriptures. Hold on real quick. It says that every human is capable of performing the greatest miracle in the world. And it is man's most grievous fault that he has not comprehended the message. Now real quick, because only the elect is going to comprehend this message. All right, let's get that. Matter of fact, what's that? Because this message wasn't meant for the whole world to get. This message was only meant for the elect of the nation of Israel. Okay? This is Romans chapter 11, verse 7. What then? Israel had not obtained that which he seeketh for. What is Israel seeking to obtain? God, the higher power. They're seeking the divine one. But the election have obtained it. So only the elect obtain the divine one, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, the mercy, the forgiveness, and the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And it says the rest were blinded. The rest were blinded. 2/3 of our people are not going to get this word. The heathen nations are not going to get this word. They're not going to understand the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven because it wasn't given unto them. They were blinded. So as clear as day as you can see the truth and understand his word, as clear as day as they can't see the truth and they cannot understand his word. Let's get the next one. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 6, verse 9. And he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not. See ye indeed, but perceive not. So they hear the words of the prophets. They hear the words of the men of the Lord that's out there in the highways and byways. They listen to our shows. All right? They see the current events. They see the wars and rumors of wars, the earthquakes in diverse places. They see all the events that's going on in the earth, but they cannot perceive that this is the end of the world. This is the end of Edomite supremacy, also known as white supremacy, the Caucasian Empire, all right, the Edomite rulership. They can't perceive that this is the end and that judgment is coming. And they can't understand the words that is spoken onto them. So when he says, it says that every human being, that human is capable of performing the greatest miracle in the world, and it is man's most grievous fault that he has not comprehended the message, blinded as he is by the trivia of East succeeding civilization. And it's going to be that way until the kingdom of heaven. Because in the kingdom to come, in the world to come, when Yahweh Bashem Yahushua rules the earth, and Yahushua is set up to be king of the earth, then all of our people, and when I say our people, I'm talking about the Israelites, are going to have the full knowledge and wisdom and understanding. And they're going to keep all the laws because the laws are going to be put in their inward parts. Okay? What I mean by that, you won't ever break the laws, statutes, and commandments or the words of the Most High ever again, because it's going to be put in your spirit. All right? The Lord is going to take away from you the stony heart, meaning to be contrary to the word, and give you the fleshly heart, which means going to be keeping the law like it's second nature. You're going to be keeping the law like it's breathing. You're not going to think about it. You're just going to do it. So verse 10, make the heart of this people fat. And when the scriptures say heart, it's referring to your mind. So it says heart comes from the Hebrew word lab, which means your mind. Make the mind of this people fat. Make them fat-headed, not able to get this word. They're blinded. And make their ears heavy and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand it with their hearts and convert and be healed. So the Most High doesn't want you to be healed. The Most High didn't choose you to be healed. So now let's get into the scriptures. Oh, that's not it. To show that the prophets are back here today. This is Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 25. Since the day that your fathers came forth out of the land of Egypt, unto the day I have even sent unto you all my servants the prophets, daily rising up early and sending them. Starting with Moses, okay? Starting with Noah. The prophets always been around to tell the people what is the will of Yahweh. They was always here to tell you what the Lord expected of them and wanted from them. All right? So it says, since the days that your fathers came from out of the land of Egypt onto this day, like I said, October 9th, 2019, and here on, the prophets are going to be here. But the unbelievers of our people can't see it because it wasn't meant for them to see. Only the elect, the remnant, are going to see, and they're going to perceive with their eyes and understand with their ears that they are the prophets. And that's the brothers you see out there on the highways and byways and doing these shows consistently. Start with our apostles and elders of Great Millstone and their righteous fruit, and the other Israelite groups that's in the same mind and doctrine as Great Millstone and teaching the correct doctrine. So it says, this day I have sent unto you all my servants, the prophets, daily rising up early and sending them. Yet they hearken not unto me. You hearken not unto Yahweh by Shem Yahushua by not hearkening unto the prophets, nor incline their ear, but hardened their neck. They did worse than their fathers. And as the generations go on, the people get much more wicked, man. They get worse and worse as the generations go on. Transgenders, adultery at an all-time high, homosexuality at an all-time high, idolatry at an all-time high. And guess what? As the time goes on, it gets worse and worse. No love for your neighbor. No, not being your brother's keeper. And the list goes on. Not keeping the dietary laws. Niggas killing each other senselessly. Spanish, so-called Hispanics, whether that's Puerto Rican, Dominicans, Guatemalans, Panamas, okay, Cubans, y'all killing each other senselessly for fucking drugs and paper money. Or even less. So it says, therefore, thou shalt speak all these words unto them, but they will not hearken unto thee. And that's how we know that the prophets are back today, because there's not major grand crowds listen to the brothers that's out there speaking. It's always 2 or 3 people or a handful of people that's listening. Some brothers, they don't even have people listening to them. The majority of the time, people just walk by us like we some type of stage prop, or we are part of the block, the concrete. So it says, but they will not hearken unto thee. Thou shalt also call unto them, but they will not answer thee. And that's what we doing. We out there telling you that you are God's chosen people. We out there telling you, you are special. You're not a nigga. You're not a spick. You're not a Mexican. You're not an Indian. You're none of the above. All right? We're telling you, you are holy people. We're telling you that you're kings and priests. But you continue going on being niggas and spicks and Mexicans. You continue being these fucking derogatory names that the so-called white man, which is your conqueror, gave you. All right? So read it on. It says, but thou shalt say unto them, this is a nation that obeyeth not the voice of the Lord their power, nor receive correction. You don't receive the correction of the Lord. You don't receive the correction. We tell Jake stop eating pork. We tell Jake stop smoking cigarettes. We tell Jake stop committing adultery, stop being murderers. We tell Jake to just stop living a lifestyle that's portrayed in the media by the hands of your enemies, man. Stop living like your enemies. Stop living like the heathen nations. But yet, you will not hearken unto correction. It says, this is a nation that obeyeth not the voice of the Lord their power, nor receiveth correction. It said truth is perished and is cut off from their mouth. So there's no truth that coming from our people, man. And it sounds like I'm this is a 2/3 show, but I'm just showing you that the prophets are out there, but you're not hearkening onto the prophets. You're not hearkening to the power, your God. And it ain't Buddha, it ain't Allah, it ain't Christiana, it ain't Haile Selassie. It's the God of Israel. It's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his name is Yahweh, and his son name is Yahweh Shai. And those are your powers, those are your gods. Next scripture, Hosea chapter 12, verse 10. I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. So the Lord ain't going to come up to you straight up. The Lord ain't going to come from a cloud, sit in your couch, sit on your chair, come chill with you. The Lord ain't going to do that, man. He speaks to you by the mouth of his prophets. You got Jake out there, well, let God tell me. I'll wait for God to do this. Well, God is doing it by the prophets. The men that you see out there on the highways and byways, the men that you the thing said, the story, the paragraph, it says, where's it at? Ridiculed, chastised, tortured, and even murdered. All right? The ones that you try to put to shame, the ones you scoff and you slander, those are the men, the mouthpieces of the Heavenly Father and his Son. And it says, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. Okay? Verse 13, and by a prophet, the Lord brought Israel out of Egypt, and by a prophet he was preserved. Was he preserved? Because it was through the hands of Moses, the Most High conveyed his message onto Pharaoh and onto Israel. It was by the hands of Moses, through the power, the spirit of power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, that all those plagues came onto the land of Egypt. So the Most High does things through his men. And that's how we know that the prophets are back out here today, because there's more things that's going on the earth since the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and all the other Israelite camps started to spring up. When Israel hit the scene, more calamities, catastrophes, and disasters started happening on the planet Earth. That's not a coincidence. All right? This is the book. Where we at? Amos chapter 3, verse 7. Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. Okay? The secrets, the mysteries, the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah is given unto the prophets. All right? And that's not your pork chop pastor preacher. That's not your poverty prep teacher. Okay? It's the prophets. All right? The ones, like I said, that's out there on the highways and byways, showing you precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line upon line, here a little and there a little. The laws, the testimonies, and the gospel. They bring you the volume of the book. They're not shying away from no topics. And they're crying aloud, sparing not the people's feelings. They lifting up their voice as a trumpet and showing Jacob their sins. And that's how we know who the prophets are, man. Last one, Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 8. The prophets that had been before me and before thee of old. And this is the key clue of how we know who the prophets are. And that we know that the prophets are back here today. Because the Israelites, all right, head spirited this great millstone storm with our apostles and elders and the other Israelite camps that's springing out throughout the four corners of the earth. This is the key clue, man. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. So this is a sign of what the prophets are going to be doing. They're going to be prophesying against many countries. Are the so-called Jews that live in the land of Israel today, are they doing this? Is your Christian pastor doing this? Is your teachers doing this? No, it's the Israelites. All right? It says the prophets that been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. And that's how we know who the prophets are. They're prophesying of war. They're prophesying of evil, which means bad times. They're prophesying of pestilence. And prophesying simply means to say before. They are saying things before it happens on the planet Earth. All right? The prophet which prophesied of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophets be known that the Lord have truly sent him. Because when you see the things that play out on the planet Earth happen, just like the prophets had said, through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, then you're going to know who the prophets truly are. And those are starting with the apostles, the elders, and great millstone, and their righteous fruit, and the rest of the Israelite camps that's out there teaching the correct doctrine, correct faith, and the correct gospel, man. And pretty much that's it. I pray and hope that you was edified. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, B'Shem Yahushua, B'Shem Rakakudash. Till next time I say Shalom.